if I have tech and I have banks, what do I need?
Back to ASML, back to TSMC, because that's certainly the driving force in the market. I mean, Jim, obviously you hit it right on there.
Thank you.
AMD, Nvidia were down a couple of days ago in part because of this ASML warning. Even when they said it wasn't AI related, a lot of people didn't believe them.
Exactly right.
Because the guide down was so big, they're like,
5
we
to
don't know
3.
what's going on there at ASML. And then it's followed by this huge number from TSMC, as you pointed out. And, you know, the chips are more expensive, so the average selling price goes up for TSMC because the margin, even if it's fixed at the same percentage, it's just a bigger number.
Right.
This video provides a deep dive into Nvidia's current success in the AI sector and its potential to become the world's largest company. Nvidia's products face exceptionally high demand, especially in the AI chip market, where it's experiencing difficulty meeting customer need. Industry experts agree that Nvidia's dominance in AI is driving significant growth, setting it apart from other tech companies and putting it on a course to challenge major players like Apple. Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company also plays a key role by increasing capacity to support Nvidia's production, highlighting the company's pivotal influence on the AI and semiconductor industries. The discussion also touches on financial dynamics within the industry, including the responses of other tech giants and finance companies like Blackstone, which are leading market gains. Analysts express regret over missed opportunities in Nvidia, with investors who exited early now considering re-entry points. Despite high expectations, Nvidia's impressive performance indicates that AI demand continues to outstrip supply, even as semiconductor companies like TSMC ramp up their manufacturing capacities. The video concludes that Nvidia's momentum is unlikely to slow soon, as the demand for advanced AI solutions continues to skyrocket.
And there's comments that are just extraordinary. I'm going to go right to the top. WEI says, our customers' demand, customer, that's single, the apostrophe S, demand far exceeds our ability to supply. There it is. NVIDIA. So you have NVIDIA, which is going to be the world's largest company soon, blowing out the numbers. Obviously, they're all agreeing that AI is incredibly strong. The rest is not that strong. And David, what I can tell you...
Wow, not enough to even increase capacity twofold,
they can't.
it said.
They can't. Yeah. What I can tell you is, given the fact that NVIDIA has become the bellwether, you're not going to be able to beat the verification away from Jensen, unless you look at Taiwan Semi. So I just think that, you know, you can get up, you can see the stuff at 2:30 to 3:30, they report a call, and then look at the reaction. So when you have the semis going after yesterday's shortfall because of ASML,
yes.
And then I'm going to add Blackstone.
Okay.
Finance.
Yeah.
Tech.
Yeah.
Those are the leaders of this rally.
And we'll forget industrials, all-time high on a cap and equal weight.
I mean, we haven't even heard from them yet. They're going up. But so far this amazing earnings season.
Well, you have to give it to these guys. I mean, honestly, they build capacity and the buyers come. I mean, people will pay anything to get these chips now. So let's just all admit that whether or not companies are able to make any money from AI based on, you know, applying them, if you're Google or Amazon or Apple, they have to buy the chips. So it's not about what they're doing with the chips that is monetizing them. It's whether they have to take what supply is available. And we're seeing that across the board. So expect that the Nvidia number is going to be extremely good because we're getting that information from Taiwan Semi.
You want to talk about Nvidia? Here, as we say, new all-time high, right on the heels of Apple in terms of overall market cap leadership in the market.
Look, this is just one of those situations where until they materially stumble, fundamentally, like miss a delivery or have some sort of like a manufacturing issue, like until something like that happens, people just come into this name. And I don't even know if do we all remember on this desk, literally, this stock was in a 24% drawdown in September. You know how many people said if Nvidia ever has a correction, I'll buy it? Did they? Did they buy it?
When it was $100?
Yeah.
Right?
Or did they say, oh, it's in a 24% correction, it's over? A lot of people that said, oh, I can't wait for it to come in, that's where I'll buy. Well, it did come in, didn't last long. And yet again, you have outrageous options activity in the stock. It's at all-time highs. It's so rare that you see the second largest publicly traded company in the world have the level of options activity, bullish call spreads this time, that you have right now. And this has just been like a recurring nightmare for people that are trying to manage a portfolio that's benchmarked to the S&P. This is like high beta, gigantic weighting. How do you fight this? There's almost no other stock that acts like it. And listen, I submit, this is a really tough name at today's valuation. You could love the business, but if you have no position and you're watching this thing take out 140 as I'm talking, it's like, oh my God, how am I not in the stock? And I talk to these people and I know.
Yeah, and look, I mean, people who have not been in have gotten in what they thought was late, and it hasn't turned out necessarily to be late.
Do you weigh? I mean, the Nvidia debate is so interesting because just as it seemed as though the whales were exiting at the right point, you have Stanley Druckenmiller coming and saying, maybe I regret that, and I'd look for an entry point to get back in.
Yeah, and Nvidia is super tough. I mean, luckily we own a lot of it here, but we've been trimming it along the way, and obviously, every time it hits a new high, you say, well, man, trimmed it too early, obviously, but it is hard to. I don't want to be too greedy when it comes to it.
Fair enough.
Taiwan Semi is going to be the last battle fought with Nvidia on this. I just think that as we go into 2025, expectations are really very high given what Nvidia and Taiwan Semi are saying. But if you look at the price action, if you look at the forward estimates for the hyperscalers that I just mentioned, they're not accelerating in a meaningful fashion. So it's really going to come down to what they say as far as spending, in my opinion, over the next month or so.
The comments from TSM were pretty convincing. They're going to double capacity by the end of the year of their advanced chip packaging technology capacity, which is needed for NVIDIA's highest, most advanced AI chips. That seems to indicate that there is the demand there.
That there is the demand that goes much broader than just the hyperscalers, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
So, though this clearly was good and expectations were really high already going in. So that's pretty impressive. Of course, it bodes well for NVIDIA. I wonder, though, if it's going to run up into what are just ratcheting up the expectations prior to. So it's up on this good news as it should be, but I don't know. We'll see it by the time it gets to their earnings.
Oh, so right. And I did love the fact that what they basically did, they actually reiterated what Jensen said, which is there's insane demand. And you'll see AMD club name we bought. Now they work at Taiwan Semi. Marvell Tech, where the CEO bought $1 million worth of stock, Carl, just last week. That is Taiwan Semi. So you have this weird. We never used to think that we'd had to get up in the middle of the night for Taiwan Semi. We get up for Nestle's, which reported a terrible number.
Yeah, we'll talk Nestle.
But you come back and you say, well, look, AI is real. And that's really the theme of Taiwan Semi. Because there's this moment right now where we're thinking, serial companies are AI. No, but this was a verification of the big rally.
But the other thing Druckenmiller said, of course, was lamenting selling Nvidia.
That is
a, quote, big mistake.
I have to tell you, one of the reasons you have to like Stanley is whoever admits that they sold something. Whoever says, look at my woods. And the answer is, and remember, Ken Langone would tell you, investor with him that's never had a lost year, has a level of humility that I love. Kind of like Tepper, but less profane.
He's not alone in being sad that he sold Nvidia. I mean, anybody who sold Nvidia is sad they did so. I'm sure Masa in particular at SoftBank. What did they? How much percent did they own of Nvidia back 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago?
Yeah. Well, I remember Jensen
made some money, but
Jensen
sold it before the big move.
Jensen has it. There are so many millionaires at Nvidia.
Yeah,
it's incredible. I mean, you go in and everybody, so many, and the humility there. You don't think anybody's any different from working at Bethlehem Steel. It's incredible the culture that they have. By the way, Nvidia is not up as much as I thought
it would be.
Taiwan Semi.
And that just brings me to somebody like Stanley Druckenmiller, one of the greatest of all time, says he's, quote, licking his wounds, licking my wounds from selling Nvidia too soon. So, yeah, one of the greatest, and, with enough humility to do an interview and say, it was a big mistake. I've made many mistakes in my investment career. One of them, I sold all of my Nvidia probably somewhere between 800 and 950. I own none, and I owned none the last 400 points. It just speaks to the idea of the market kept going up. We kept looking at these risks. Some saw these risks as perhaps at least tactically insurmountable, and got out of some positions, and now wish they didn't. A guide, it's up 12%. Nvidia's up, Broadcom's up. Nvidia's at a new high, by the way, as well, and it's right on the heels of Apple in terms of market cap. But this has been an important trade. It's looked a little rocky, if not lumpy, at certain points. And thank you, Taiwan Semi.
In conclusion, the video emphasizes Nvidia's pivotal role in driving the AI industry forward, with demand for its advanced AI chips far outpacing supply. Nvidia's consistent growth and innovation in the AI space have positioned it as a major tech powerhouse, potentially surpassing other giants like Apple. Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company is ramping up capacity to support Nvidia, reinforcing the importance of strategic partnerships in meeting the soaring global demand for AI technology. The video also highlights how the current financial market dynamics are closely tied to tech and finance giants like Nvidia and Blackstone, showing the growing reliance on AI-focused companies. Despite early investor exits, Nvidia's impressive performance has continued, raising questions about the future trajectory of AI investment. The industry's rising expectations reveal a strong belief in Nvidia's long-term impact on the tech landscape. Questions for viewers. Do you think Nvidia will maintain its momentum as a leader in the AI market? How do you believe the growing demand for AI technology will impact Nvidia's partnerships with companies like TSMC?